here tonight?
The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
You might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts! Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again! Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.
Are you ready?
It's time!
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. I am Tech Coach Ralph. We are Engineered to Win. This is Tech Q&A, and we are going to get it in. You can call in. The link is pinned to the top of the chat. If you have a question, you can ask your questions in the chat. All that good stuff. We are here. We are ready to roll. We are ready to win. That is what we do here. I got already my guys in the building. We have Yakar and Victor Williams Jr. Shout out to you guys. And you know what, Yakar, that video that you sent me about Amazon and Graviton, we're just gonna go as that's gonna be our icebreaker. We're gonna watch that before we get into our questions, because I am curious to hear about that as well. Victor Williams Jr. also says he'll be listening while he tweaks his resume and job search. This is the best channel and show to work, update your resume, search for your jobs, because that's what we talk about over here. And we also work on things to build up those skills so that you can stand apart from the crowd as you go and apply, as you interview, all that good stuff. So thank you so much, Victor Williams Jr., for being here as always. And I wish you so much success on your journey.
I appreciate you.
All right, let's get into our agenda for today, and then we will get on with the show. All right, so first and foremost, let's get into our housekeeping. So gratitude and our show schedule. So I just want to say a thank you to all of my subscribers. This channel would not be what it is without you. To the new subscribers, to those who have been with me for a while, you know, everyone in between, so much love, so much appreciation. I really, really appreciate it. And shout out to the tech savages. That's the tech barbarians, the tech prodigy, technical explorers, the tech mercenaries, those YouTube members who are out there grinding hard every single day. And shout out to the bag chasers as always. And if you haven't done so already, go over to techcoachralph.dev, sign up for the Patreon. You get access to exclusive content, as well as coaching. One-on-one coaching is available at the higher tiers. So if you need that one-on-one coaching, I am available to you. The spots are limited, but there's spots open right now, right? So check it out if you need my services, all right? So let's get into our housekeeping. So first and foremost, let's get into our live show schedule. We have on Sunday afternoons, we have software explorations. We are working our way through Terraform. For all of those who are interested in infrastructure as code. So I know, you know what? I can give you a quick example. So you've seen us do Terraform, and we've been setting up our Elastic Beanstalk. We've been trying out with, ECS, Elastic Container Services. We've done Elastic Container Registry for our Docker images. We've done load balancing stuff, all this different stuff, right? But guess what? One of the people that I'm coaching, they are they're also learning about not necessarily Terraform yet. Yet is the key word, but they are learning about the cloud infrastructure, all that stuff, right? And so you've seen me. I've been working on AWS. They're working on Azure. So guess what project I'm going to give them? I am going to give them the project to do the same thing that I did, so they can deploy my little app, but on Azure. And after they can get that to work successfully, then I'm going to say, okay, cool. Now let's Terraform it. See, and I just thought about this yesterday. I was like, what kind of valuable project could I give somebody that I'm coaching? I'm like, this is going to be a great opportunity for this person, because they can actually see what's on AWS. I'll show it to them and everything. And I'm like, okay, now I need you to go out there and recreate it. Make it work on Azure. So that way we could say, all right, I'm just going to point the domain name over to Azure and see, does it work? Or I can create a subdomain and point it, so many different possibilities, right? But this is the stuff that comes out of me spending my Sundays 2 to 3 hours every Sunday learning Terraform, learning about cloud infrastructure, learning how to code the cloud, infrastructure as code. And the same kind of things come out on our other shows, right? So Sunday afternoons, join us, Software Explorations, where we're going through Terraform. Tuesday nights, we are, and after Terraform, we're going straight into DevOps. Straight into DevOps, right? Tuesday nights, we have our Q&A tonight. Tonight is Tuesday, July 9th, 2024. Thank you for being here. We have our Q&A session. You can call into the show. You can put a question in the chat, as well as I have question source as well, right? Thursday nights, we have more Software Explorations. Our Thursdays are more geared towards different, either QA topics or software engineering topics, things like that. We didn't have a show last week because it was 4th of July and so much noise and fireworks and whatnot. So it wasn't going to make sense to have a show that night. But before that, we worked on one of my sprint stories for my Tech Barbarians. We were updating the README file. And then on Sunday, I showed you when one of my Tech Barbarians merged in the code, how we had the new README documentation that we worked on before. So the way I put my coaching group in positions to learn and to win, this sprint, this sprint, they're going to be writing automation tests for the actual project, and they have to put it as part of the repo. So it's going to live in the repository. And that's how we win, because that's how you do it in the real world. You don't just randomly write some automation test that goes to some GitHub graveyard. No, we have to make it real. And that's opportunity. And then we're gonna end up building some more apps, and it's a real deal. It is the real deal, right? Then we have our morning shows, Mondays and Wednesdays. Right now, this week is starting at 6:45 a.m. Coffee and Kata. Review some news, and then we get to coding. We're working on mobile development, mobile app development. We're trying to figure that out. It's been a little bit confusing. And we also have 4 days left until, hopefully, knock on wood, that we can actually go and push our application into the Google Play Store, right? So, and then, we need a drum roll for this one. Our Saturday morning shows with me, Tech Coach Ralph, my guy Yakar, and Mitch. It is the Men Lie, Women Lie, Numbers Manipulate. And that's the show where we review the economic data, the job numbers, how our consumer survey indexes and all that stuff, right? All that stuff that doesn't really make much sense to us, but we break it down to make it easy. So because guess what? This work that we do here, it directly correlates with the job numbers, with the economy, all that good stuff. So we have to be well versed in that as well. So that's why we take the time, we break it down to a way that's a lot easier for us to understand. So join us on Saturday mornings. It is such a good show. Last week we spoke about how the job numbers were revised down. They said that, so 2 months ago, they said that we gained 272,000 jobs. But Actually, it was like 219,000, a big drop. And the unemployment rate went up to 4.1%. But guess what? I heard someone touting that this past month, 200,000 jobs were added to the economy. But as these jobs are being added, the unemployment rate keeps going up. But guess what? Even better. They're probably going to revise it again next month to say, oh, you know what? Actually, we goofed. It wasn't 200,000. It was more like 150.
Bruh.
So that's what we do Saturday mornings. Come and join us. Join the fun. We have so much fun on that show. You know, I would have never thought this type of data would have been so much fun. But guess what? We make it fun.
We the best.
All right. So that is our live show schedule. Come and join us. Come and join the fun. And then, but wait, there's more. We have our pre-recorded content. We have our candid conversations on Mondays, where yesterday I spoke about how my number one tip for you to be successful in a corporate environment, if you're into that type of stuff. But I've been in corporate forever, and just giving you some tips on how you can be successful in there. Secret tip: don't run in the Victim Olympics if you want to be in corporate. That's a preview, but don't run in the Victim Olympics if you want to be in corporate. Wednesdays, we have software explorations, concepts, and overviews. Tomorrow, I'm going to break down to you what the CI/CD pipeline is, make it easy to understand, continuous integration, and continuous deployment, how that is essential to a successful running tech team, all right? So you definitely want to tune into that tomorrow. We're going to get it in, figure all that out, make it easy to understand. And then Fridays, we have the Bug Bite. This coming Friday, I'm going to be talking about how an S3 repository, an empty S3 repository from Amazon, how it skyrocketed somebody's bill, you know? And I'm going to talk about the AWS bill in a little bit as well, because I found something out this week. Whew, would have been a catastrophe, but here we are nonetheless, all right? So that is, and then throughout the week we have short sometimes, and we have clips from the Q&A show Monday through Friday. So tune in, and I'm working on getting some more clips out as well, working with my video editor to get that out to you. But so that's the plan. That is the focus. So with all that being said, if you haven't done so already, do me a big favor. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you can know every time we go out. Sign up for the Patreon at techcoachralph.dev. Sign up, get exclusive content, as well as sign up for one-on-one coaching. I'm here to work with you and help you win, all right? So let's see. We are going to get into this video for that your car had sent me so that we can see what is going on with this Amazon announcement of Graviton 4 CPU. So let me pull it up. Give me one quick second. Let's get this off the screen. And I'm going to go over to, let me do this and go over to, see if this works. Go here. Let me see. Where's the one that I had for it? Was it news? Give me a second here while I figure this out. All right. Let me see. There we go. I don't know why I didn't have that over there. All right, cool. Let me open that. And we're going to go with here. Let's see if that works. Cool. All right. Hopefully this works. All right. So we are going to watch this about Amazon announcing Graviton for CPU chip. All right. So let's watch this together and see. Hopefully we don't have any trouble with this, but let's watch this together and see what this is all about. This is our icebreaker for today because this is very important news.
We have breaking news on Amazon. Kate Rooney has the details. Kate.
Hey there, Morgan. Amazon just announcing its latest version of a custom-designed chip. This is within AWS, Amazon Web Services. It's the fourth generation of an existing semiconductor called Graviton. These are CPUs, so specifically designed for more everyday general-purpose computing. So think of things like running websites and data centers, for example. These are not those AI chips known as GPUs. Executives at Amazon say this newer version brings 30% better performance versus some of the previous generations. Say it uses 60% less energy to process the same workloads. If you compare that with an Intel x86 processor, which is what the vast majority of customers use at this point, all of that, they say, helps keep costs down. Amazon is partnering with ARM for the chip architecture, and while AWS is working on its own in-house chips, it still partners with Intel and AMD on CPUs. I asked Dave Brown, AWS's VP of Compute and Networking Services, about that balance. You might call this co-opetition. He does say that those partnerships continue to get deeper and the customers just want choice.
So this is a CPU. It looks like the Graviton is for, like they were saying, more everyday type tasks, not for like serious data processing and stuff like that. Which it's a good option. I wonder what the cost is going to be for those instances that are running on these Graviton chips. Because if it is using less computing power, less less energy, all that stuff, it should hopefully be a cheaper price than what's currently being available. So that's going to be interesting to see.
Customer comes to AWS, they're able to look at, do they want to use an Intel processor, an AMD processor, an NVIDIA accelerator, or would they want to look at one of the custom ones that AWS has? And they typically test them all, and they will find the one that works absolutely best for their application. And I think that choice is so important for customers, and it allows them to find the one that not only gives them the right performance for what they need, but also at the right price point. And so we do think that the choice is a winning strategy.
And guys, Graviton is still a relatively small portion of the chips that AWS customers use right now. They still mostly rely on Intel and AMD, but it is seen as an area with a lot of potential upside within AWS. Back over to you.
Kate,
I remember just the other day at work, we were actually looking into, we might have did it actually, but we were looking into migrating some of our servers to use the Graviton chips as well because of, I think it was because of price and performance and stuff like that. So it's definitely something that's getting traction and things like that. So it's I'm curious to like what I'm going to do. Probably what we'll do on maybe Sunday is to start looking look at inside AWS what they're talking about Graviton with these chips to see when they're going to be introduced and what is the likelihood of using them, what AMIs offer them, stuff like that. So that's gonna be pretty fun to see.
The grocery store of IT, this is like buying the store brand milk or mac and cheese, right? I mean, you get a better value, and if the quality is there, it can also be more profitable for the hyperscaler that's providing the chip.
Yeah, I like that analogy. It's sort of the Kirkland brand, right? And so they're making a trade-off. I mean, the big picture that executives would say is that it's keeping costs down, and that's what AWS customers want in the long run. But it is sort of an experiment at this point. It's a smaller portion of the chips that most AWS customers are using, and so they pointed out, I think it was 2 million chips out there, about 50,000 customers. It sounds like a big scale, but if you put it in context of overall AWS and how many customers are out there, it is still relatively small. So it's still sort of unproven, but it is a big bet. I mean, this is one side of the business, CPUs and sort of the general computing, but then there are the AI chips that they've got out there. I know you talked to Matt Garman about this with Inferentia and Trainium and the other side of the chip side of this coin, but they really, along with other big tech companies, are making a play at in-house chips and really trying to diversify here and sort of trying to strike the balance of still partnering with Intel and AMD, maintaining those relationships, but building their own competitive chips in-house. It's sort of the same dynamic we see with AI as well, what they do with Bedrock.
Still going to stock that Kraft mac and cheese too.
Exactly,
for sure.
You got to have it all. Annie's and Kraft, you got to have both.
Cool. So yeah, I mean that's pretty cool to hear. And one of the reasons that they offer like all these different options is to offer different price points and things like that. And people can, they can choose whatever it is that they need. So imagine if they only offered like one type of, one type of CPU, one type of chip, then the pricing would be like, it would be very targeted. And now you can't, all right, I only need to run this website. So let me use a chip that's going to be efficient for that with a price point that I can afford versus getting like one standard high-powered thing, So if you want to use Intel for some reason, go with that. If you want to use AMD, if you want to use the Graviton chip, if you need an NVIDIA chip, So that's that. So that's pretty cool. Thank you, Yakar, for sending me that article, as always. And let's check the chat, and then I'm going to tell you a quick story about what I saw on AWS with the pricing and stuff, and then we're going to get into our questions, all right? So we got Adrian Roberson in the building. Says, what's up, Tech Coach? What's up with you, Adrian? And we got A.R. Smitty in the building. Says, Tech Coach, your car, Victor Williams Jr. What's good with you, A.R. Smitty?
We the best.
And we have Just Amp manipulate. You know how that goes. You know how they be manipulating the numbers. We catch them every single week saying, and guess what? They never manipulate the numbers in a good direction. They always get manipulated in a negative way. Oh my God, stop the presses. We got my guy Mitch in the building. It says, whoa, where did that go? All right, it says, gather around Tech Savages. MITCH is here. Voice of the people. Still trying to find out what people, but he's here. All right. And it says, Ralph, it must be below 0 over there. You mean the temperature? By the way, the AC got fixed. Nothing's. Yeah, there goes your car. He got the AC fixed. That's what I'm talking about. Let's see what else. I thought he was in an igloo for a second. The unit blowing snowballs over there. No, did he? Fair use as always. Yes, they will be generic brand. Yep, that's what we see here. Less cost, more bandwidth, less energy. Like it. That keeps the cost down overall. Hey, I didn't want to say nothing, right? I didn't want to say nothing, but that is a great question. Your car, the mystery continues. And Chris says, I'm thinking is that they are trying to get to the point where they can offer an unlimited AWS plan that is affordable for companies and Amazon. They have to cut the fat and take the Toyota approach. That'd be nice. And your car says, is that a new hat? Yeah, that is a new hat. That is a new hat. It is. I like hats. Hi, my name is Ralph, and I have a problem. I like hats. All right? And I cannot lie. I like nice hats, and I cannot lie. And Mitch says, Ralph, you ever see that Deontay Wilder clip, Your People Too? I have not, but I will look it up. After the show to see what this Deontay Wilder clip is. Is that what I should search for? Just search Deontay Wilder, Your People Too? Let me know. All right, so let's get to a quick little story real quick. So I host the app that the Tech Barbarians are building on AWS. I have the whole infrastructure set up. It's done through Terraform, all that good stuff. And we recently migrated it to the Mongo database, MongoDB Atlas. And we had to do some work. I spoke about it on Sunday on the Terraform show, where we had to set up a virtual private endpoint, private link, I think they call it, right? And then you have to assign it to a subnet and all, like, yeah, it's there's a bunch of stuff you have to do. Like, you have to assign it. That's not a bunch of stuff, but you have to assign, say, the virtual private endpoint is part of this subnet, right? For if you don't know what a subnet is, it's something to do with networking, right? Something to do with networking. I learned it about 20 years ago when I was in school. Never really used it until now, right? And I'm still not using it the best. Anyways, I digress. So I noticed my AWS bill was creeping up. It was more last month than it was all the prior months. And then with AWS on their Cost Explorer, I'll go into details on this on Sunday. But it was like double the price that it would normally be at, and we're only 8 days into the month. I'm like, what in the world is going on? So I started digging into the Price Explorer, and I navigated, like, I went all the way into the VPC, because it said the VPC was the highest cost out of everything. I'm like, what is, like, I didn't do anything differently. And then I broke it down. I looked into it. I drilled down, and it said that the virtual private link endpoint is what was causing the bill to go up so high. So think about it like this. It's a penny an hour for each endpoint link, right? And because there was one for each subnet, and there were like 6 subnets, that makes it like 6 cents per hour. Now imagine that for an entire month, right? So if we do the math real quick, where's my calculator? That would be 0.01 times 24 for a whole day. And we get 24 cents per subnet, right? So, and there's 6 subnets. So in a day, it's $1.44, right? So let's say there's 30 days in a month. That balloons just that part of it to $43 at least. So my bill, which is normally around like $50 a month, was about to get to like $100. I was like, what in the world is going on? So I had to go and make some modifications, delete some subnets, adjust the private link to only have one subnet. And I'm still like making sure things are still up and running. But I was like, there is no way I'm going to be paying $100 for a site that gets buried. And that was one of the reasons I started looking into the Firebase and stuff like that. But I mean, also, if we can save even more money with Firebase, then I'm all in for it. But those are the things that you have to monitor your costs very, very carefully. Because like it can skyrocket, it can balloon. So set up alert thresholds and all that good stuff so that you can make sure that your billing is in the right direction, and you don't want to wake up like the story we're going to be talking about on Friday and get a $1,200 bill within 1 day. All right. So just wanted to share that with you before we get into our questions. Let me take one last look at the chat, and then we are going to get to our first question of the night. All right. So we have me, Mysify, saying good evening, Tech, your car, Mitch, and all. Good evening to you as well.
Let's get it.
All right. So we're ready to get into our first question. Do me a favor, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Go to techcoachralph.dev, join the Patreon, all that good stuff. But with that being said, let's get the show on the road. And we're going to get to our first question.
Another one.
So I've called this one, Don't Tell Me How to Do My Job. Okay, so what is this question? Let's get to it. So colleagues who are not testers are telling testers how to test. I wanted to check something with you and maybe vent a little. I have been working as a tester for a couple of years now, and what I have noticed in the teams is that I have been working in that we always had a person, an architect, a development lead, who decides how we as testers should do our jobs. Here's an example. A couple of years ago, someone in the team decided that testers should only be idea generators. All test automation was going to be done by developers, so this was basically taken away from us. And we as testers had to generate test ideas, which were sometimes taken into account by developers and others not. This is a common thing in this field. I feel like we always have to stand up for ourselves in order to do our job. And I definitely do that, but someone else decides for us what our role looks like or should look like. It makes me feel like all autonomy will be taken away. Wondering if anyone else experiences this, has experienced this as well. So that is a great question. Let's start up our timer. And I would say that I haven't experienced that. I think, though, one of the reasons that you might be experiencing that is that what is your level of participation in the whole process? Because when I try to work, when I'm working in like on a software development team, I integrate myself into the development process, asking questions about the development. The same way, the way I see it, the same way that a developer can ask me questions about the testing protocols or an architect or something like that, I should be able to ask questions about the development steps and the development plans, all of that, right? Because we both have a vested interest in the success of the product and of the company. So if you're finding yourself in a position where they're telling you how to do your job, then the question is, why do they feel that they need to do that? Why do they feel that they have to do this? Is it because you are not vocal enough? Are you at the story refinements, at the plannings, at the retrospectives, at the sprint reviews, at the daily scrum meetings, the stand-ups? Are you asking questions? Are you contributing? What risk do you see? And I think that like and instead of just allowing someone to say, okay, this is what you're going to do, you say, okay, we can work on this together. We can pair so that you can insert yourself into the process instead of allowing yourself to be dictated upon what you're going to do. Your voice, especially in a Scrum environment, your voice is equally important as everyone else, because you doing QA is the last line of defense for the company. And you should treat yourself, you should see yourself as such. If you think you're just the person who is going to, like, you're just throwing everything to you and you're just saying yes or no, no. The best form of QA is the preventative measure. Being like Minority Report, catching the bug before it happens, stopping the bug before it happens, squashing the bug before it happens. See, your car hates bugs and roaches, like literally hates them. Literal bugs and roaches. So my job to keep your car happy is to not allow the roaches to come in. So as QA, we should be the pest control, like the Orkin Man or Terminex. Is that what they used to call them? Whatever. So that we don't allow bugs to the best of our ability. Bugs will always get in there at some point, but to the best of our ability, planning, assessing the risks, all of that good stuff, so that you can contribute totally to building of the software. That is how I see the ability for you to be successful in this field, because, and another thing, right? Because the way that you're approaching it is in a way that, they're telling me what to do. Quality is everyone's responsibility. Because if the quality of the software sucks, then everyone suffers. Everyone suffers. So the same way, like you see me, I'm always open to get feedback from anyone to say, okay, what do you see that I'm not seeing? What do I see that maybe you're not seeing? And then we bring that together and it's okay, cool. We're gonna look at here, we're gonna look at here, we're gonna look at here. Here are some testing strategies. And if developers want to help in writing more robust automation code, then I'm all for it. But the question is, are they saying that only developers are going to write it because your coding sucks? Is that possibly what it is? Does your coding suck? That's a possibility. So those are all the things that I would consider. And I would say, if all, ask them, speak to the architects, speak to the developers. How can I play more of a role in ensuring the quality? I don't want to just be an idea generator. I want to be innovative as well. I want to build something as well. All right. So that is my thought. It's not about someone telling you how to do your job. It's about collaboration. It's about coming together so that we, at the end of the day, can have the best software ever, because we are above all else engineered to win. And on that note, all right. So that was our first question of the night. Let's see who we've got in the building. We got the lovely Roxy in the building. Hello, Roxy. How are you doing tonight? And let's see what else we got in the chat. So let me turn on the calling. I always forget to turn on the calling link. I have to write that down to turn on the calling link, because in case anyone wants to call in, we can have that going right there. Okie dokie. So there it goes. All right. Call in link is open for anyone who wants to call in. So let's see what we got. Your card says to Mitch, till this day. That must be something about the Deontay Waller. And that's how I feel when Ralph talking about, that's how I feel when I'm talking to Ralph, going to start calling him Radio Raheem. Just call me whatever you want, Mitch. Just don't call me Collect, because it will be denied. Sorry, I don't accept calls from Collect. I don't accept Collect calls. I'm just saying. All right. And it says, I think Ralph would acknowledge that and then counter with, that's why he doesn't want people running in the Victim Olympics, because this is a battle and no one feels sorry for you. I mean, I don't feel sorry, but I'm just saying I don't feel sorry for people, but it is what it is. It is what it is. And I heard the word minority. We got DEI code and bugs now. Your card said raid. What's up, Ferris, by the way? What's good, Ferris? How are you doing tonight? And which says, I know that's when I put him in a headlight. Yeah, Mitch, you don't want none of this. You do not want none of this. You will be tapping in like 20 seconds. You'll be like, all right. My arm, I broke my arm, choked. I woke up like not knowing where I was. It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty, Mitch. I'm just saying. You see, your guy says, don't let him get a hold of you. You know, he likes to choke people. How did what was his name? What did Wayne Brady say in Chappelle's show? Does Wayne Brady have to choke up? I'm just kidding. All right. And let's see. It says his reign would be shorter than a leprechaun. Well, we'll find out. We shall find out. All right. It says definitely calling you Collect. Hilarious. All right. Let's get to question number 2. Do me a favor, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. And what is question number 2 of the night?
Another one.
How to load test a mobile app? Well, this is a little technical, but let's get to it. You know me, I love technical questions, right? So, are there any software packages, open source or commercial, that can be used to load test a mobile app? I'm going to start my research on my own as well, but I figured I'd ask to see if anyone has any experience with a built-in package that can automate load testing with minimal, low, or no code happy path scenarios. All right, so this question is quite interesting. So how do you load test a mobile app? I think so. The reason I brought this question in is because I don't think that the focus should be on the actual mobile app itself. Because if the load is coming from a mobile app, that means that it's going to a server, right? Timer up. All right. That means it's going to a server. And that means it's connecting to the server so it's more about the load testing on the server than on the mobile app. Because a mobile app is a individual piece of software that is installed on your device. So it's not that you're necessarily load testing the actual mobile app, but what you are load testing is the connection that mobile app is doing to whatever network, to whatever server. How much load can that server handle? So the question is, if that's the case, what do you do? So I would say pretty much JMeter. There is a special load testing software though that my friend Don created at the end of last year. Let me see if I can find this software real quick. Give me just one quick second. Let's go to the Chaos Camp GitHub. Let's see here, repositories. And, well, looky here, there it goes. All right, so I would say I would try this. I would try this one right here. Let me see if I can share my screen real quick. Let's go over to right here. I would try the Ralph. What? Yes, the Ralph repository. Stands for Rapid Automated Load Performance Harness, created by my good friend Don.
I appreciate you.
And the Ralph repo, Ralph is a powerful load testing tool written in Go, designed to scrutinize the performance of websites using a multitude of load testing strategies. Ralph can efficiently simulate simple tests, stress tests, spike tests, endurance tests, and ramp up tests. At the conclusion of each test, Ralph promptly saves the results into CSV format, further offering the capability to upload these results seamlessly to Google Cloud Storage. All right, so. And that was created by my great friend Don, who's going to be coming back soon. He's going to be coming back to the channel very, very soon, and we're going to run it up together as always. But at the end of the day, what I would say, and I'll drop this in the chat as well for anyone who would be interested in checking out the Ralph load testing tool. Boom, there you go. For anyone who's interested, check it out in the GitHub. Amazing, amazing stuff. But let's go back to full screen. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, automating writing a load test for the mobile app, it's not as much about the mobile app as it is about the connections to the server, the network, because you're not going to be load testing on a localized device, because that's a software. It's like saying, how long does it take for Chrome to open up on my computer? That's not a load test, because it's about the performance of your machine. What you want to do is you want to be making a lot of API requests, maybe GET requests, maybe POST requests, whatever that service that mobile app is using to connect to whatever server it's connecting to, and see how the performance of that is. And you can use JMeter, you can use Gatling. There's so many different tools you can use, right? But you can also use Ralph, created by my great friend Don. All right, so
I appreciate you.
But yeah, that would be my thoughts, my strategy around you testing out, load testing a mobile app. Definitely go for the APIs because at the end of the day, it's about your connection to the server and not the connection for the actual app itself, right? So that is my thought. Hopefully that was helpful. So we're going to wrap that question up with this right here. And let's get the timer off the screen. Boom. All right. So that was that question. And let's see what we got in the chat. So Ferris says, howdy, everyone. Howdy to you as well, Ferris. Happy to have you here, as always. Let's see. And it says, kind of stressed from all these interviews. Guess what, Ferris? Guess what? The people are also stressed from no interviews. You see, we just can't win. Stress from too many interviews, stress from no interviews. What is just right? What is just right? But salute to you, Ferris, because you're already are Caribbean. You're trying to get 10 jobs. Talk about being overemployed. But good luck to you, Ferris. Good luck. And Ferris says the economy is too damn strong. He can't stop getting jobs. He can't stop getting offers. He says Biden 2020. Yes. See, you're wrong, Ferris, because Biden said Biden 2020. He didn't say Biden 2024. He believes that he is still in 2020 running. So Biden 2020. All right. See, you have to be with the times, first. You have to be with the times. It's still Biden 2020. All right. And Ferris says, yeah, he got the senior vice president hit him up today. I said, sure, they scheduled me for tomorrow. See how Ferris talks to the senior vice? He's like, yeah, the first one's like, sure, no problem. Hit me up. And then they're like, all right, we'll talk tomorrow. And Ferris is like, bet. Ferris is like, bet. I got you. All right. And it says, on a positive note, you're doing it just to do it. No need to stress. And Ferris says, Gen Z struggles. Yup. Gen Z struggles for real. For the win. And he says, Ferris said, we getting all these black jobs. What's a black job? It's the job that Ferris got. The 10 of them that he has at that. The 10 of them that he has. Shout out to Ferris. Always winning.
We the best. They ain't believing us.
But look at Ferris winning out here in these mean streets. All right, so let's get to our next question. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Oh my God. Rose like a phoenix from the ashes. We got my guy in the building. Darcel Chapman says, good evening, family. Good evening to you as well, Darcel. How are you doing tonight? So happy, as always, to have you here. You are so appreciated here.
I appreciate you.
Always great when you check in with us. All right, we are going to get to our next question of the night. Now we can move on. Now that Darcel said, we can definitely move on, all right? Because it is always a pleasure. A fan favorite, always a fan favorite, right? So let's get to our next question of the night. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, check out techcoachralph.dev, sign up for the Patreon today. All right, let's go.
Another one.
Blaming AI, artificial intelligence, and ATS, that's the stuff that they use for resume tracking, for job rejections. So this person sounds like a recruiter who's upset that people keep blaming AI and the ATS for job Let me see I always forget what ATS stands for. ATS stands for resume. ATS. What does ATS stand for? Applicant tracking system. So blaming AI, artificial intelligence, and applicant tracking system for job rejections. All right. So let's get into this question. I am so over people blaming AI or the ATS for being rejected. I hate the large amount of misinformation that artificial intelligence has somehow been widely adopted seemingly overnight and is rejecting candidates even though they're a perfect fit, in quotations, a perfect fit for the role because it's in cahoots with the ATS. Like, I get it. The job market is so, and it's frustrating, and I suppose we all need a scapegoat, but the amount of blatant misinformation about hiring ATS and AI is a wackadoo. Like, I use certain AI in certain aspects of my job functions, but not to screen candidates or reject them. So here it is. Let's start a timer. All right. So Do you know how many people I come across who say that they've been rejected for a job, or they've been ghosted, or I mean, if you're not even responded to, are you ghosted? No, I think you need to be spoken to in order to be ghosted. It's like let's say you see someone that you might be interested on Instagram, and you send them a little private message, and they never even read your message, they never even acknowledged your message. Are you ghosted, or were you just like totally ignored, huh? That's what the people want to know. That's what I want to know. I digress, though. So, but how many times do you see people say, I was like, this was my dream job. I was perfectly qualified for this job, for this role. And I heard nothing. I got to like the first round of the interview, and then they said they would call me back in 3 days, and then they never contacted me. All of that stuff, right? So this recruiter, though, is saying it is not the fault of AI or the applicant tracking system. It's like, it's not me. It's you. And guess what? For the most part, I agree with this recruiter. Here's a big part of the problem. I believe that 90% of jobs that are applied for, the person applying for it doesn't even come close. They don't even come within like 50% of the requirements, if that. And that's being generous. But they're going to apply, and now you're going to have these jobs be flooded with people applying that don't qualify. So now the ATS is working overtime trying to filter. And it's not the ATS that rejects, but it's going to make some recommendations, though. And if you are a perfect fit for the role, then you should pretty much be a match. It's like going on one of those dating profiles and you're not matching. It's not showing you anybody who you would be interested in. I'm just saying. So for some strange reason, it seems like, and trust me, I have no idea about the dating market because I haven't dated in forever, right? But it seems like from all the complaints that I hear, the job market is very, very similar to the dating market. Bruh. Say it ain't so. And then it makes it worse when you actually do get a job and then you try to find love on the job. Anyhow, I continue to digress. But I say that when it comes to job searching, you have to be very, very strategic. Very strategic. It's so important to be strategic, and there is no possible way that a recruiter is going to be able to, and I think Victor Williams just said it right now, it's impossible to screen thousands of applicants, right, without some type of, you see, I'm going to read this comment right now. I think it's impossible to screen thousands of applicants for some of these roles without some automated filtering based on what the company is looking for. And you're totally right. It's impossible. So, and what a lot of people do is they just have one set standard resume, and then they just blast it to every single job that they can find. And the job description doesn't match what so here's what's going to happen, right? If the job that you're looking for that you're applying for doesn't match what your resume says, then you're going to get filtered out, of course. But people don't want to spend the time, because here's what can also happen. Right? You can spend the time and you can update your resume and all that stuff, cater it to a particular job, and still not get responded to. And I'm pretty sure people have done that. And then when they don't get any response, they're like, you know what, forget this. I'm just going to blast my resume. And it's still a lose situation. I think that people in general, they don't know how. Looking for a job is also a skill now, a art, a talent. Because back in the days, we're actually talking about this at work today. Back in the days, before you had where you can mass apply online, write a script to apply for a bunch of jobs, you would have to go into a company with your resume in hand and say, hi, I'd like to put in a job application. And you might have to go to a bunch of companies and say, sorry, we're not hiring. Until you finally say, okay, yeah, just leave your resume here, and then they might call you back. But now, especially like, and what Victor is saying, those thousand applicants, they're on the remote jobs. And so how many people say, you know what, it is remote or nothing? It is remote. So now, instead of going to a hybrid role or a local role, where you could have a smaller competition pool, you say no. This is what it has to be, and now you're competing against thousands of applicants for the same job, and your resume sucks. Respectfully, your resume sucks. And you don't have the skills, you don't have the qualifications, but because you love the benefits of the job, you're a perfect fit for the role. It's not about your skills and your qualifications. It's because, oh my God, they have unlimited PTO. Oh my God, they give you a bonus. Oh my God, I can work from home. And guess what? I can work from the beach. I can be sitting on the beach with my laptop, and I can just be working on the beach, listening to the ocean and stuff like that. This is my dream job. I am a perfect fit for this role. No. This role is a perfect fit for me.
Bruh.
You know, and that's what it ends up with. You have to be super focused, targeted on what you want, how you're going to get it, who you're going to reach out to, what are you going to put on your resume, how you're going to reach out to people that can put you in that position to get that position that you want. You know, so many things go into it, but many people, just like in everyday life, they do the bare minimum, and then they wonder why they don't get results. And then we hear the good old call to Nate. It says,
I'm in a bind, Nate.
It is what it is. And, oh my God, I am so excited. Guess what? We just got a dislike on this video. You know you've made it when you get a dislike. You can't beat that. You cannot beat that. But anyways, that is our question on blaming AI and the ATS. And on that note, let's wrap that question up. All right, so let's see what's going on in the chat. Let's see. And let's see. Darcel says, I appreciate you all. And the channel. Mitch just got locked in on the goals. That's what I like to hear. I love to hear us getting locked in on our goals, because forget what the haters say. Forget what the losers say. We don't think about them. We are in it to win it. We're winning. We are winning because guess what? You know what we do here. You know what we do here.
I mean, you know, all we do is win, man. You know that.
All we do is win. So shout out to Darcel, as always, getting those goals on lock. And because his shots be all net. Swoosh. All right. And like Victor Williams had said, I think it is impossible to screen thousands of applicants for some of these roles without some automated filtering based on what the company is looking for. You are totally right. Totally right. It's all about strategy. It is all about strategy. And Ferris said, I thought I'd be on the beach when I got remote, but not. I don't care about leaving the house, to be honest. I thought it would be nice, but then I realized I'm still broke. Pain.
I hate it here. I want to go home.
Sorry. And Mitch says, I can't work from the beach. Of course you can, Mitch, as long as you get the position to do it, you know, like but it's all good. And Ferris says, ocean water and PCs don't mix well. Well, you have to get the special ocean, like is the remote working beachfront PC, right? The remote working beachfront PC, it is available on Amazon. So the link will be in the description where you can get your your oceanfront remote beach working PC. All right, so check it out. And it says, who disliked me? I got them hands. You know what? No. We like it because once you get a dislike, that means you've made it. Because who are you without people who dislike you, right? If everyone likes you, then you're doing something wrong, you know? So we've made it, Mitch. We have made it. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. And just get the sponsor link back. Oh my God. Too much. All right. Enough fun and games. There's never enough fun and games, right? But we're going to get to our next question of the night. Maybe we can hurt somebody else's fifis tonight. Wouldn't that be fun? Nugo, let's get 2 dislikes tonight. Let's try. Oh, okay. You guys don't go and dislike the video. I'm just saying. Let's get some more hate. Right? Let's get some more hate. Right? We live for it. We live for the toxicity, don't we? All right. Let's get to our next question. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. If you have a question you want to call in, click on the link in the chat. It is right there in the chat. I'll just even flash it up on the screen as well. If you want to call in, feel free to call in. All right. So let's get to our next question of the night.
Another one.
What's your ideal work environment as a tester? So I'm curious about your experiences and preferences in working in the software testing world. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the following. What's your favorite type of company to work for? Is it a big team, a small team, startup or established corporation, remote, in-office, or hybrid? Why do you prefer that particular work environment? Which companies, in your experience, offer the best career progression opportunities? And how do you typically evaluate a company's potential for career growth? We all know they claim to offer massive progression opportunities during interviews, but that's not always the case. How important is a tech stack when you're considering a job? Oh my God, there's a lot of questions. What's your favorite testing job so far and why? Anything else that might not listed, but you think is important? All right, you listed or not, so we're not necessarily going to go into each one of those, but we're going to do our best. We got 14 people watching the show as well. Shout out to you. All right, let's start the timer. And that's all right. So what's my ideal working environment? My ideal working environment is where I have the freedom and flexibility to be innovative as a QA engineer. So what do I mean by innovative, right? So that means that I get to help structure the shape of the team, the quality of the team as well. So pretty much on all the roles that I've been on, except for this one, they've had no automation framework in place. Like they never even had automation, right? So I came in and I introduced automation and I set up the framework. I set up the reporting. I set up the test case management system, how it gets tracked, how they get updated, the automated test, the API test, all that stuff, right? And would that be my favorite, or would that be ideal? Don't threaten me with a good time. I had tons of fun figuring it out. But as well, though, in my current role, they had all of that stuff already established, and coming into working on an existing framework. And this is the way that it works. We have a company-wide automation framework, and then inside of the team that I work with, we use that framework and we extend it so that we can build upon our own necessary testing tools. So, and guess what? I love them equally, because guess what? I am able to expand, and I've taken what we had at the time to new heights, figuring out new repos, new ideas, new ways to automate, new ways to validate. And now our testing is so much more robust, and it provides us so much more confidence. So so for me, I'm very flexible because I'm going to put my thumbprint on whatever environment that I'm going to be in, because I'm always going, I just need that space to be innovative. I need that space to explore. And let's say, and here's the thing, right? Even if I don't have the space to explore on the job, I'm going to explore on my own. For instance, on Thursday nights, on Sunday afternoons, on Monday and Wednesday mornings. So that I'm like, okay, can we do this? Can we do that? And then I'm bring it back to the team and say, hey, I found this, I found that, and this is the benefits of using it. Because a lot of times we just find these things out, but then we don't offer why it would be useful to the team. So, offering that, making presentations, all that good stuff, right? So, what is my favorite type of company to work for? A big team or I guess I don't know what you mean by what type of company, but definitely a software company. I don't like working for companies that are something else, but they have a tech department. I like to work for actual tech companies, because they have, it's a single vision in mind where a company can be doing something that a tech company can be providing something that is not necessarily tech, but it's the technology that powers it. For instance, Tesla, for all intents and purposes, they build cars, but they are a technology company that is producing cars as well as other stuff. So I want to work for a technology company. That is like my baseline. All right. I worked for a pharmaceutical company where I was on the tech side, but I think it was more to my detriment than anything else, right? So, startup, big team or small team. I kind of like small teams because it is more. There's more collaboration available. Because I've heard of some people working on a team of 20 people. And for me, that's kind of crazy. I worked on a team with like 15 people before, but I was the lead QA person on it. But I like a small to medium sized team where, especially in a Scrum environment, I like Scrum environment. Let's see, startup or established corporation. I would probably prefer an established corporation at this point. I don't mind a startup, but with the startup, it is very, very messy. But on a startup, you do get the chance to put your even stronger fingerprint on the direction of things can go. There's a lot of room for learning as well at a startup. But I also think, but even me working at an established company, I still learn a lot. So it's what can you make the most of, right? So remote, in office, or hybrid. I am definitely going to say remote because I hate commuting. And I'm like, when I commute, there's a lot of time that I feel that I'm wasting. Sitting in a car driving, I feel like I'm wasting so much time, right? So I'm going to go for remote, but I wouldn't necessarily mind hybrid as well because I like to collaborate with people see people face to face for enough, right? It's not like an everyday thing, but yeah, I would definitely say remote because I can do so much more remote, get so much more accomplished. Why do you prefer that particular work? I just explained that. Which companies in your experience offer the best career progression opportunities? So it all depends at the end of the day, because here's the thing with career progression. The lower you are in a company, so let's say you get started as a junior software engineer, as a junior QA engineer, you are like, there's going to be a lot of you. So now let's say you get up to a level 1, level 2, a senior. The higher you go, the less that there are, because they're not going to be a million seniors. And then let's say you get to a lead or a manager. There's not going to be a million managers, not going to be a million leads, because then why would you have everyone as a lead? So all companies, like, while they do have a career progression opportunities, they're going to be limited to a certain extent, because the higher you go up, there's only going to be so many opportunities. And if it's a company that people don't really leave because they have good companies, they're a good company, then there might not be a spot open for you. But I am a firm believer of, if the company that you are at does not have room for you to grow, then you should be looking at other opportunities outside, because you should never be too attached to a company, because you have to see what is your opportunities to grow. If a company's not doing for you what you need, then you are like, I believe that you should be looking elsewhere, right? So that is my thought on what is my ideal work environment. All right. So, oh my goodness, we have Feisty Ferris acting up in the chat again. What's going on here? Let's see what's going on. Oh my goodness. Wait, stop the show, stop the presses. Just wait 1 second here. We got my guy in the building, Rod Brown. Says, what's good, everyone? Salute to you as well, Rod Brown. Hey. Welcome to the show. As always, appreciate you for being here. And we got, all right, so Mitch says, pharma is legal, drug dealers hate. As long as it's legal, And it's so funny, because I saw this in pharma, right? The FDA, they have so many stringent things you have to go through. They'll approve the drug. And then when people start complaining about the drug, then the FDA is going to sue you, right? It's just, the government never gets blamed for anything. I'm just saying, right? And it says, I'm on a small team now, only 4 of us, but we do way too much work. But I love it though. Mitch says, don't threaten me with a good time. I'm just saying. Mitch knows how to party, right? And first is remote with an option to walk into the office at random. That's a pretty good option. Because being that you can show up to see, but this is the thing, right? For remote jobs nowadays, how close do people actually live to their office? That's what I'm wondering. And just hybrid isn't too bad. Just depends. 4 days a week. Is it hybrid? I mean, yeah, if you're working 4 days a week, 4 days a week in the office and 1 day you get to work from home, that's not really hybrid. Or vice versa. If you're working 4 days from home, but once a week in the office, that's not really, you might as well be remote. And versus, I saw a job post that called a job remote because you get to work at home once a month.
Bruh.
Yeah, that's a little extreme. That's a little extreme. And yes, that is sick, Mitch. That is sick, of course. They get one of these.
How dare you?
All right. And let's see. We should be attached to a company. It's our family. But. I'm gonna tell you this though, Ferris. I'm gonna tell you this. Guess what? I see, and here's a part that why Mitch won't be able to understand me when he talks about his people, right? Because I am not attached to family like that either. If it's not people who are in my household, like that I can walk out of this room and see and speak to and ask for something, they ask me for something, then I'd be like, sorry. A lot of times, your family will do you the worst than your greatest enemy, including the person who hit the dislike. I'm just saying, gotta be a little petty every now and then. And versus, to be honest, I don't know what I would do without my families. If you're talking about your job family, you would probably be a little brokey broke. I'm just saying. What I would do without my family. When you say family, do you mean by like extended family, like a brother-in-law or something like that? A sister or brother-in-law? Is that what you mean? Or do you mean like your wife and your child? Like what level of family are we talking about here? Because if it's like extended family, like a brother-in-law or a sister-in-law or a sister or a brother, I'd be like, later, deuces. I'm just saying. And it says, I saw one that said hybrid once a quarter. They want you to come in for a week. That's not bad at all. If you can get away with coming in once a week for a whole quarter, that'd be pretty awesome. And it says, did you see the movie Pain Hustlers? I did not see that movie, but I will add that to my list of movies to watch. And maybe I can watch that movie while I'm writing up descriptions and creating thumbnails, because that's my leisure time. While I'm watching TV or a movie or something like that, I'm working on the laptop so that I can actually continue to be productive. And that is what I call leisure stacking. You actually be productive so you're not actually wasting time because you're still being productive watching something on TV, but you're still working as well. That's just me. I don't like wasting time. And if I use the time cost calculator and I see that the value is going down in my time, I'm like, oh my God, I just wasted like this much money by watching this movie for like 2-3 hours. However, if I can continue to work while I'm doing that, then it is a win-win on both sides.
Oh yeah.
I'm just saying, all right? And it says, let's see, Ferris says, that's not bad. I like the idea. 1 week every 3 or so months. And guess what? Doing it that way, it's like if you came in once a quarter, it's like if you came in like almost one time a week or, one time every 2 weeks, but you just condense it all in one time. So I like it. And it says, which is I'm not either, chump. So I do understand. So you're not for your family, but you're for your people. What? That gets a. I don't know. And it says, I rather have an honest enemy than a sneaky family member. The message. And says, any job welcome to adopt me and pay me. That's his man. See, that's what I'm talking about, Ferris. If they're willing to adopt and pay you and pay the adoption fee, then I am all with it. Let's go. And AR Smitty says, honest enemy indeed. See, because here's the thing, right? With your honest enemy, you already know what their intentions are. You're like, all right, cool. Like, I see you over there. You see me over here. You keep your distance. I keep my distance. Like, we have that level of respect. But that lying, conniving family member, they're trying to, come and do this with me. Come and do that. Oh, I need your help with this. I need your help with that. And then, because you don't know their dishonest intentions, you're like, all right, cool. And then they got you looking like Willie Lump, right? They got you looking like Willie Lump. You're like, oh my God, how could you? They're like,
how dare you?
That's what family can do to you. That's what family. And it says, what would Ralph do without Mitch? I have no idea. It'd be rough out. It would be rough out here, but I don't have to worry about that because Mitch is always in the building. All right, we are all caught up on the chat. Let's get to our next question. Do me a favor, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, go over to techcoachralph.dev, sign up for the Patreon today. Let's start winning together. All right, next question up.
Another one.
Why is there no documentation? That is a great question that so many people ask, right? So how common is it for testers to have few to no docs already created to learn the software feature? I'm getting the sense that it is pretty common for most testers, testing teams, to not be given much in the way of existing documentation that ideally should have been done in the software development lifecycle planning stage about how the features work, such as use cases, task flows, workflow, mind maps, anything that would help a tester learn the software any quicker than playing around with it for hours on end and having to create all the needed documentation themselves. Has that been your experience? And how common do you feel like this? How many testing groups are lucky enough to have a lot of software design and behavior documented? All right, so that is a great question. That is something that plagues the software industry, having bad documentation. So start a timer. And the question is, all right, so how common is it for testers to have few to no docs, right? I would say that it is quite common, but guess what? Whose fault is it?
Are you ready?
I would say that it is the fault of primarily the previous tester. Here's the deal. In order for the software to have been created, then there should have been someone testing it. And whoever, even if it was a developer testing it, because a lot of times, because developers, I just want to get to market. They're going to release software that has full of bugs, right? It's going to drive your car crazy. Don't call your car crazy, but it's going to drive him crazy because he hates bugs. He hates roaches. All right. So with that being said, the documentation, it's everyone's responsibility. See, me, when I'm working on something and there is no documentation, guess what that means? That is my cue to start writing documentation. Yes, that's what I do. So, and it might not be the best documentation at the time, but having something is better than nothing. Right? And your car says if there, see, your car, he has no care. He says, if you do not have documentation, and if you're full of bugs,
You're fired.
You're fired. You're fired. You're fired.
Ricardo's like, I'm not even putting you on a PIP. No PIP for you. So, what I'm saying is, everyone is responsible for documentation. The developers, the product owners, the Scrum Masters, not necessarily writing it, but ensuring that it is written. The QA people, whoever, the stakeholders, where's the documentation? See, one thing I always ask when I join a company, right, is, all right, where's the documentation? Oh, we have some document here, some documentation here. I'm like, all right, cool. You know what that means? That means now that I'm part of the team, I have to make sure that we have the correct documentation. I'm not going to like, oh my God, we don't have documentation. Oh my God, we suck. I'm like, no, guess what? Me being the person in quality, ensuring quality. See me, some people call themselves testers. No, I am a quality engineer. I'm a quality engineer. And I'm like, all right, cool. So that means that's just something that we have to work on. Whether we need to do API documentation with Swagger or something to that extent, whether we need to have like have better comments in our code, whatever the case may be. But we need to have our documentation on point, because when you onboard somebody, we shouldn't have to go through countless rounds of trying to gather information, spending a lot of time doing a knowledge transfer, knowledge share. There's going to be knowledge share, but you need to be able to point them into a direction, start reading stuff. And I think that if it doesn't exist, as a QA engineer, it is part of your responsibility. You know, it doesn't mean you're the one who has to write it all, but you need to get it started. You need to say, okay, this is what we're going to do. Here's a easy way, a very easy way to get documentation written. All right, listen up real quick. All right. Add it as a point to the acceptance criteria. And because as a QA engineer, when you are going through the story and you're testing the story and you have to go through the acceptance criteria to check off everything that has been met, if you get to the point of documentation and there is no documentation, you know what that means? The story fails.
Bruh.
Say, and that to me, that's a defect. Say, hey, where's the documentation? Where is it in Swagger? Do we have it in like a Confluence or a Google document or whatever? You know, where's the documentation? How are we documenting this? Do we have a diagram that needs to go along with this? Because inside of Agile, we're not having these. We don't typically have like a whole requirements gathering phase. And it's just like we build it. Literally, we build it as we fly it. Right? So I think a simple fix to that is just having a line, a bullet point in the requirement says documentation has been added, documentation has been updated to reflect the changes, to reflect the new feature, etc. And then, and only then, you can ensure that we have great documentation. But as a QA engineer, if no one else is thinking about it, you must be thinking about it, all right? So that is my tip on how you can overcome not having any documentation, get it created, get it done, get the win. No ifs, ands, or buts about it, all right? All righty then. All right. We are on a roll tonight. Let's see. Still no second dislike. You see, I can't win. I got one tonight, but I can't get a second one tonight. But the night is young. All right. So let's see what we got in the chat, and then we're gonna get to our next question of the night. And Fair says, not gonna lie, a pet peeve of mine is poor documentation. And you know what, Ferris? On your end, I can understand that, because you're right. Because on your end, you are you're looking at documentation. You're the cybersecurity person. So you would expect the whoever who's supposed to be writing it to actually produce it so you can review it and you can, make sure things are going correctly, all that good stuff, right? So I would say it is the job of the software development team, which includes the software. See, a lot of times we think the software development team is just the software developer. No, but it includes the Scrum Master, it includes the developer, it includes the QA person. It could include the DevOps person, the front-end people, the back-end people. All of them are responsible for getting the documentation correctly. And I would say if you see there is bad documentation, then it is your duty to let them know that their documentation sucks. I'm just saying, all right? So, and Mitch says, I used to get half credit in school because I never showed how I got the answer. I said it's in my mental notepad. I'm a human computer. Bruh. Or Mitch used that TI-89 calculator. Are they still using those in school? I haven't used a TI-89 in like 8th grade or something like that. All right. And Ferris says, Mitch is built different. Mitch is built forward tough. Just saying. And Mitch is off topic. We love to go. You know how my mind works. I love to go off topic, right? It says, you got 200 plus subs in about 2 months. Hey. That one video, what's it called? The identity and access management video. That video is going crazy. How? I don't know, but hey, more power to it. But yeah, hey, you know, people love good content. Except the one dislike that we got. I'm just saying, I'm just saying, all right. And Ferris says, yeah, it just ends up me asking a senior software developer or manager, what's happening? Why does your documentation suck? That's exactly how Ferris says it, right? Exactly. And it says, stop being quiet about it. It is what it is. It is. We just out here winning. We are just out here winning, That's it. That's it. Because all we do is win. All we do is, and it says, identity and access management is a good career. I think it is a great career because it spans across so many things. Because it can be the person who's creating the policies. It could be the person who is actually going into like AWS, Azure, Google Cloud Platform, whatever, to say, all right, who are the users? Who are, what permissions do they get? What security groups they belong, not security groups, but like what roles they belong to and all that good stuff. And then if you know how to do it with Terraform as well, it's just so many possibilities, so much good stuff. So that video is so popular. I don't know why, but it is what it is. I am not complaining about it. I say thank you to the YouTube viewers. And it says, I think they can even start at like 95 to 100K. So if you get in, you can scale up. I'm pretty sure they could, but you gotta have some. I'm pretty sure you need to have some type of experience in that whole sector, But I don't know. It's a great topic. I love it. I love it. I love going into like some work that I was doing a few months ago, heavily based around that whole IAM stuff, where it's like, all right, how do you tweak the permissions to get to do what it's supposed to be doing, right? As job stack. Okay. All right, cool. So, and Ferris says, how people get into identity access management with no experience need a presentation. I need a presentation on it too. I don't know how they get I really don't know, because I have no idea. Like, you'd have to start. I think you have to start lower and then work your way up into that. He says, I don't stack. I share love. Okay, cool. That endless grind doesn't stop. That endless grind of Ferris does not stop. All right, let's get to our next question of the night.
Another one.
how to learn complex software, right? So this question goes, how do you go about learning complex software? Let's say you got a new job or put on a different project and the software is pretty complex. How do you go about learning the software? What is the first thing you do? I'm trying to improve my process as a tester, so looking for what others are doing to get ideas. All right, cool. So this question is right up my alley. Although we don't have an alley over here, but I digress. So how do I learn new complex software? I would say that whether it's complex or not, right? How do you learn the new software? Because you're new to a company, you're new to a team, and they are using something that you've never seen before. Like they have their own, like they might be using, the typical Java or C# or Python, maybe using like a Mongo, but you're not familiar with the actual software, what it does. So hopefully speaking about documentation, hopefully there's some good documentation. But have you ever started off at a company, right? And your first week of orientation is you're just reading documents, or maybe it might be on your second week. Maybe you have orientation the first week, and the second week you're reading documentation about the team that you're going to be working on, right? And it's like all these pages, all these videos, and you have absolutely no idea about what the hell they're talking about. That's happened to me at pretty much every job I've had. And there's not much they can do because you don't have any context behind it. You don't have any context. So you're reading through this documentation, all these foreign words and stuff like that, right? It doesn't make any sense. But what do you end up doing? So here's what I normally do, right? Guess what? The dev environment, the testing environment, starting up locally is your friend. And this is why with my tech barbarians, what I do for them in particular is that I have them learn how to use Docker. Yes, Docker. Why do I put such a heavy emphasis on Docker? The reason is that they are able to start the application locally. So that means that they get the actual application to get built, build a Docker image, start up the container, have Mongo start up as well. They never used Mongo before. They never used Docker before. They never used like Node before. Never used a Mongo. Probably never used Git, but but getting familiar with the core components of software development. So now when you actually get the application started up and it's running locally, or you're running on a dev environment, whatever, that means that you can start doing stuff and there's no risk. You're not really gonna break anything. So having your own environment and then start navigating through the software. As you're reading the documentation on one screen, you're actually using the application on the other screen, like clicking it around, trying to figure it out. And once you start figuring out a complex software, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. That's it, right? And that's the point. That's the key. You need to. It's like this, right? You buy something. And you get the instructions, and the first thing that you do, you read the instructions. You just read it. You don't look at anything that's in the box, right? And now you put the instructions to the side, and now you go build it without looking at it. No, when I am using the instructions to build something, I have the instructions right here, and I have the whatever I'm building right here. So I follow step 1, put this screw in and do this, boom, do that. Step 2, do this, and I do that. And that's how I actually learn how to build whatever I'm building. But that's the same way of learning the new software. Can I start it up locally? Can I run it on my device so that I have the UI come up, I have the API come up? So when the tech barbarians are using the application, they started the application, right? It's a Node app, it uses Mongo. Now they can go into Postman. They can make an API request to see that it's being added to the database, it's being removed from the database, that they can actually go to the site. They can see that the site is pulling from the database. They learn about authentication and stuff like that. So it's not that, because any new software you're coming to is going to be complex, especially if you're new to the field. So for them, they think like for them it's really complex because they never seen the code before. They never seen this type of application. But I put them in an environment to use the tools so that they can easily learn it. And then we work together on updating the README file. One of my tech barbarians gave amazing suggestions on how to make the README file easy to understand. And that's the goal. But that, for me, it's hands-on. Hands-on is how I think is the best way to learn new software, learn complex software, one bite at a time. What's one thing I can understand and master, and now I know how to do this? It's the same. It's actually the same concept of learning jiu-jitsu. When you first get started, you know absolutely nothing. By your 5th year into it, you know just a little bit less than nothing. And you go from there. Or maybe a little bit more than that. Who knows? Whatever, right? You know what I'm trying to say, right? But that is the goal. That is the strategy that I employ when I'm learning new software or complex software. And on that note, let's wrap that one up. All right. So we are moving along. Great questions for tonight. Great topics. And let's see. Ferris says, or Mitch says, companies like mine, you can, but again, once you're in, you can move around. Yep. Mitch works for an awesome company, I must say. And says, how you learn, you study. Okay, it's a good point. You also study research, trial and error. Mitch is dropping work after what? Mitch, who?
How dare you?
You know we don't work after hours here because I gotta go. Nope. If I cannot learn during work hours, then that means that something is wrong. Psych. Nope. You guys know, I believe that you should be putting in 10 to 20 hours outside of work to better your skills, better your development, better your knowledge. If you are new to a job and you want to grow quickly and understand quickly, you have to spend an additional 10 to 20 hours learning, getting your new skills and learning about the job as well. If you think that, oh, I'm just gonna, I have 3 months to make it, I'm just gonna go and learn it like every day on the job, and you're messing up. So many times we just want to learn while in the game instead of showing up to practice. Don't be like AI and be like, practice. Somebody say practice? Yes, we're practicing, all right? So put in that time off the field so you can perform on the field, all right? And Telltale Woke, my guy, Telltale Woke, welcome to the show. Welcome to the channel.
I appreciate you.
Says, you eat an elephant bite by bite. What up, Telltale Woke? Welcome. And let's see, API request to Docker. No, so it's not an API request to Docker. So the way that it works is you're going to have a Docker container on whatever port, like usually like if you're doing a node app, it's probably like port 3000. And once the application is started, then you can make the request to that associated port that you're exposing on Docker. So it's not the API request is necessarily to Docker, it's to the port or to the application that is running in a Docker container, right? So hopefully that clarifies that. And it says, I gotta go to the club and the liquor store. It says, don't threaten me with a good time. Okay. But Mitch, we know you don't go to the club or drink. We know you don't do none of it. Mitch is a nice, wholesome, young, old man, all right? Speak English, damn it. But I understand. So basically, all right, let's see if I can make it a little simpler, right? So let's put it like this. Let's say a Docker container is the house, but you're not making API requests to the house. Let's say a port is like a window, So like, all right, so let's put it like this, right? So you're not making the request to the house, right? you are going to the window and speaking to in the window that you have open, the open window, in order to make your request. You know, like kind of like the drive-through. Kind of like the drive-thru, right? So that's a terrible example, but it is what it is. It is what it is, right? And Mitch found it funny. Young old man, you know, just hey, I'm a young old man too as well, Mitch, right? So we're in the same boat. We're in the same boat, all right? So let's continue with our next question. Do me a favor, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know every single time that we go live. Go to techcoachralph.dev, sign up for the Patreon today, get access to exclusive content as well as one-on-one coaching with me. All right, so the next question of the night.
Another one.
How do we justify our coding experience to the interviewer who has just completed the automation training? So this question is saying, if you just completed your automation training, how can you justify your coding experience to the person who's interviewing you? That is a great question. Quite mysterious as well, but let's start the clock. All right, so, well, actually, no, we're not starting the clock yet. I'll start it over. Oh my God, I messed up. Let me stop the clock and then I will start it over once we're ready. Where are we? I got too excited, started the clock too early. All right, so the question goes, most of the job descriptions ask for experience or proficiency in programming languages. Applying to such jobs becomes challenging and hence one loses the opportunity. How do we apply to such jobs even if they ask for 5+ years of experience in coding? What is the best method, approach, and how to network and resources so the interviewer gives us the opportunity, though the expectation differs as per the job description? All right, so now let's start the clock. And pretty much, how do I get around not having the necessary experience for me to qualify for the job that I want? Kind of remember the one earlier about the AI and the ATS rejecting people who are unqualified, although they feel that it is the perfect job opportunity. They match it so perfectly. They match the job perfectly. So I think the biggest problem is you don't have the experience that they're looking for. So what is the nicest way I can say this? With all due respect, respectfully, right? Just because you have gotten 8 or 9 days, maybe 16 or 17 days into a Python course, or you've taken some type of automation boot camp, that doesn't mean that you have all of the necessary skills and knowledge in order to successfully write the best code, pretty much production level code, right? That's the honest to God truth. All right, let me just be real. Your code for the most part sucks, right? It sucks. You're not properly, you're not doing the object oriented properly. You're not having proper naming conventions, you know, and you don't care. Because you just want to learn the code. And you think that your lower quality code should be enough to get you that job. And this is the thing. The jobs ask for 5+ years of experience for a reason. Now, a 5+ year of experience job, that's like they're nice to have. But if you have like 3 years of experience in coding, then they're going to look at it. Now, you might get paid a little bit less than the person who has 5+ years of experience. But if you just finish a coding boot camp, I can guarantee you're not going to be able to think through the logic that it takes. And that's why when I'm telling people, like, when you're learning to code, there's 2 parts for it. There's syntax and there is logic. To me, the logic is 100 times more important than the syntax. because the IDE, because most people are using IDE, right? The IDE will give you some syntax information on, oh, you're missing a semicolon, you're missing a comma, your indentation is messed up. But when it comes to the syntax, when it comes to the logic, the IDE is laughing at you. And while the IDE is laughing at you, the person who looks at your code, they're like, what is this? Why did this person apply for this job? And guess what? Now, when 90% of the people who are applying for that job with no experience and their code is terrible, now what if there is one person? What if there's one person who actually they probably don't have the experience either, but their code is actually pretty good? Guess what? Nobody's gonna see their code, because the probability is that person, all the bad coders are going to have a negative impression on that one good coder. You know, so we're not even gonna look at it. So I would say stop. Yes. Stop applying for the jobs that ask for 5+ years of experience when you only have 1 month of experience. Stop applying for those jobs because you're not ready for it yet. Sorry, not sorry, but you're not ready for it yet. I would say look for those 1 to 3 years of experience, or build something. Yeah, build something. Join a community that they can actually do code reviews for you. Yeah, code reviews. Yes. Hey, and here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. If somebody does a code review for you and they tell you that your code sucks, respectfully they tell you that your code sucks, are you going to get into your fifis? Are you going to try to defend your crappy code? Or are you going to embrace the criticism and say, like, are you going to say, please go and tear up my code. Tell me what's wrong with it, what you could do better, how can it be more engaging or something like that? And when you do that, then they can tear it up and you can make it better and build something, actually build something, deploy something. I always go back to my guy, Calculus Coder, who, when he was applying endlessly for different positions and he couldn't find something, he actually built an actual site. He put it on the internet and it was able to get feedback and got users and stuff like that. So build something and be open to criticism. Be open to change. All right. So that is my thought on how do you share your coding experience? You actually build experience. That is, for me, that is the only way. Building experience, however you can build it, that's what you have to do. Join maybe a Discord, ask for code reviews, pair program, whatever the case may be. You need to actually build experience before you can actually. So 1 month of a coding bootcamp or a online course is not enough to translate to 5+ years of experience. All right? All right. So let's check the chat. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. All right. Let's check the chat. Let's see what we got here. And your car says, did they say they were unqualified, but they want the job anyways?
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Your car says, two words. He says, get and qualified. You're asking for a lot here, your car. You're asking for a lot, all right? And Ferris says, we deserve it. Our feelings matter. Oh, you know what? You get one. You get one of these. Did they say they were only unqualified because not enough experience? Pretty well. That's how they worded it, right? They said that they didn't have enough experience because they want a job where it's asking for 5+ years of experience. However, they just learned how to code. It says, how do we justify our coding experience to the interviewer who has just completed the automation training? So this person, they just finished their automation training, which I think they worded the question wrong, but they just finished the automation training, but they want to justify to the interviewer that they have coding experience for a 5+ year job or experience, a job asking for 5+ years of experience, right? So it is what it is. It is what it is, right? And Ferris says, go get it, kings and queens. And your card says, you know what? I'll even say it backwards. Qualified, get. And Ferris says, the solution is to comment on every line. All right, see? You know what, Ferris? If you comment on every line, you will. I won't even look at your technical interview, all right? And it says, they ask, how could they get a job they are not qualified for in general? That's what I read. That's what I read. And so Woke says, that's fire. And it says, Yakar, I want to be a pilot tomorrow morning and fly for Delta, but I have no experience. However, I did play Flight Simulator last night. Just saying. If you can successfully land the plane on Flight Simulator, then you should be good to go, all right? But be careful. You might not want to fly a Boeing right now. You might not want to fly a Boeing, all right? And it says he wants a parasail as well. And Ferris says, is commenting on every line bad? Yes, Ferris. Commenting on every single line is bad because you're going to be like, it's going to be over commenting because comments should be where, like, let's say you have a function, right? And you want to describe maybe what the function is, but if you have like every single line of what you're doing, that's a little too much because we should be able to read the code without having, because guess what? If the code can change, now are you going to go back and update every single comment, or are you going to write clean code so that it's easily readable? Like you can easily read through the code to see what's going on, and I don't have to go read through your comments to understand what your bad code is saying. Because you can have amazing comments that is very descriptive, but your code could still suck, right? It could still suck. So writing clean code is better than writing great comments, all right? Have your code be legible and not necessarily your comments, all right? So I'd rather read your code than your comments, all right? And Ferris says, well, every section of code comment. Oh, yeah, that's not bad. Well, it's clean code with comments. I hear you, but I'd rather read your code than read your comments. That's just me, right? That is just me. And it says, well, don't tell me to show my work. Show your work through clean code, all right? Simple as that, simple as that. And it says, so the issue is redundancy. The issue is, here's a real issue, right? The issue is you'll figure it out with experience. I'm just kidding. But yeah, it's about like finding, it's like the Goldilocks, right? You have to get a right balance. Having nicely written code that's easy to understand and having comments where necessary, all right? I'm just messing, Ferris. You're good. You're picking it up. But, Ferris, if there's a job that says they want 5 years plus of experience, you have to get past day 21, all right? You got to get past day 21. Maybe if you get to day 30, you might be ready for that 5+ years of experience job, all right? I'm just saying, all right? What do we got next? All right, so you know what? There's only 4 minutes left in the night. Should we push through to one more question? One more question? What do you guys think, right? Let's do one more. Let's do the last question of the night. Let's push through, right? Let's push through. And let's get it. No hesitation, right?
Another one.
software engineering pay versus regular engineering pay, right? So why is software engineering paid so much better than regular engineering? So I spoke with an old friend from university who is in electronics. They work similar hours, get paid way, way less. Iteration cycle is much slower. They have to go to the office, and it's not like their office is in a cool location. It's in the middle of nowhere. They probably work with Ferris, right? In the middle of nowhere, right? I don't get it. Why would anyone choose any engineering but software? And the thought, which I think is even worse, are we just in a bubble? Are we doomed to get the same fate soon? That is a good question. So let's get our timer up. And I think that the reason that software engineer is so broad though, but at the end of the day, it is different than all the other engineers, right? So Mitch says, what kind of engineer? What's regular? Geek Squad engineer? Maybe not necessarily Geek Squad, but I'm guessing like they mentioned electronics, right? So, I guess people working in electronics. I don't know how much civil engineers get paid. Let's do a quick search. Let me see. Civil engineer pay. So I see in Florida, right? Which this is according to ZipRecruiter. It says $37K to $85K. Salary.com is $60K to $89K. Pay scale $59K to $110K. Let's see what other engineer do we have? We have what other engineers do we have? We have electrical engineer. Electrical engineer is actually pretty good. They say $80K to $140K in Fort Lauderdale, $68K to $87K in Miami for level 1, $51K to $120K for entry level electrical engineer in Boca, according to ZipRecruiter. So that's a pretty wide range, right? And let's see. So let's do lastly. What about a social engineer? How about social engineer? Maybe that's what they mean, Mitch. Social engineer, maybe? It says, no freaking way. All right, average 66K. All right, I got you. Is that even a job though? I don't know. Anyway, I digress, right? So I would say that let me do software engineer. How much do software engineers get paid? So software engineer in Fort Lauderdale, according to Glassdoor, is $100K to $170K. Levels.fyi in Fort Lauderdale is $80K to $180K. Indeed, it's $51K to $150K. In Miami, ZipRecruiter, $91K to $200K in Miami. Built-in, $100K to $280K in Miami. And then salary.com, $64K to $91K, right? So with that being said, the reason that I would see that software engineers are getting paid better than regular engineers is because of some key thing that you said, right? The building software. Oh, snap. Dang, that was harsh. Didn't see that coming. But let's finish this question up and then we will wrap it up because we do not want to get told twice because we don't want to get fired, right? We don't want to get fired on our day off, right? So with that being said, the software, right, so you have to understand the difference, right? Building software, in my eyes, in my opinion, is cheaper than building hardware. Because let's say you're building an application, and let's say it's a web, like a SaaS application, a service as a software application, right? You get to market faster. You can come up with an MVP. Do you know how hard it is to come up with an MVP of a hardware product? No, you need to have a fully functioning hardware product, or a hardware product that can take software upgrades, you know? But the software is what powers everything. Because without the software, you just have a brick. When a Windows computer locks up, the computer is no longer useful to you. The hardware is no longer useful. So software engineers are going to make more money because they can actually get to market faster. They can create software that even more people can use. So how many people can actually use the software, right? Millions. But you can build one software base and it can be distributed to millions of people. So it is cheaper to build software than to build hardware because, another example, when an iPhone is released, right? Is the problem a software issue of demand or is it a hardware issue of demand? When they're sold out, it is because of the hardware is unavailable. But the software can be it's always available. So because it is slower to get the hardware out, and if there is a hardware issue that a software fix cannot resolve, then that makes it even worse. So to me, that is why these software engineers are going to get paid better than the other type of engineers, for the most part, right? It's not always going to be the case, but in electronics, what is engineering in electronics? Is it somebody who fixes stuff, who puts them together, But it only goes as fast as you can go. Maybe you put it together, you put it on the assembly line, but software, the innovation, the thought, the software powers the hardware. You can have software without necessarily having hardware. I mean, you're going to need the hardware for it to run on, but having hardware without software, that hardware is going to be useless. It's going to be like a rock. So the question is, why would anyone choose engineering, but any type of engineering but software? Because not everyone can do software engineering, and while not everyone can do software engineering, there's going to be a limit. So let's say you apply for software engineering job and you can't get it. Are you going to say, well, in that case, I'm just not going to do anything at all? No, you have to do something. And then maybe you aspire to be a software engineer, but maybe you have to start out some other type of engineering. I don't know. Right? But you just got to keep pushing forward. Got to keep on swimming. And it says, are we doomed to get the same fate as a regular engineer soon? I don't think so. Because software will always be necessary. I don't think that AI can assist in creating software, but it's not going to be able to figure out all that logic. It can give you a head start, but it's not going to be able to do everything, right? And then there's going to be AI engineers, like we were talking about on, what day was that we were talking? I think it was on Saturday or either Saturday or Sunday. Yukari and I were talking about the AI engineers, the prompt engineers, the cloud engineers. So many different types of engineers that also are based on software and hardware, because cloud is like a mixture of software and hardware. Being able to navigate AWS, Azure, Google Cloud Platform, whatever other providers there are, getting the configuring like the cloud technology that's going to be running the applications. The cloud engineers get paid very, very nicely as well. So I don't think it's about software engineer or quote unquote regular engineer. It's you have to find the right engineering fields. So IAM engineering, cloud engineering, DevOps engineering, DevSecOps, so many different fields, So it's not software versus the world. It's tech engineering versus non-tech engineering, in my humble opinion. But with that being said, let's wrap up that question. And we're going to go through the chat real quick as we wrap it up for the night. Let's see what we got in the building. So let's see here. Telltale says mechanical engineer. I don't remember if I checked for mechanical. Let's see how much mechanical engineers make. And the thing is, with these, like with the mechanical engineering, with the civil engineering, with those type of engineering, a lot of times they require you to be in person, like the person said, right? Mechanical engineer in Fort Lauderdale, according to Indeed, is $56K to $130K. Boca Raton is $66K to $89K. Automotive mechanical engineer is $44K to $100K. and according to Glassdoor, 100K to 170K for mechanical engineer, right? So Mitch says, I'm a social tech engineer, and versus iOS is trash, by the way. And Mitch is going to add on that Apple is trash, and Mitch also says Apple, but I don't think so, because Apple has made me some nice money. I use the money that Apple made me to buy my incoming MacBook Pro, where we're going to be doing some amazing. We're going to have Docker running. We're going to have all of our. I'm going to open up all my IDEs. I'm going to open up three different Docker containers. I'm just going to go wild with this new MacBook, because we're going to be doing some crazy stuff. I'm going to be streaming. I'm going to be streaming in 4K with all my toys running with Docker and WebStorm and IntelliJ and Android Studios, and we're just gonna have a grand old time. It's gonna be a party. We're gonna have a party, all right? And your car says he agrees with Ferris's assessment of iOS 18. Let's see. And your car says hardware has limitations due to the architecture and materials used. Software can do anything with no limitations. Hardware literally holds the software back. Be like, hold me back, hold me back, hold me back, right? So let's see what else we got. But your car is 100% right. And your car says, think about the fact that the software can compute at an infinite number, but your physical processor can't take that many inputs.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
And Mitch says, Ralph, don't forget to watch that clip. It's about 30 seconds, maybe less. You don't have to watch the full video. Just let me know what to search for. Let me know what to search for, and I will find it. And Mitch says, Apple is definitely trash. Not my MacBook. And Mitch says, Ralph thinks he knows me. You don't know me, son. You don't know me, son. You know, do you guys say son in Jersey? I know they say it in New York. Do they say it in Jersey? Do you guys say son in Jersey? Just checking. And Mitch says, I'm gonna say it exactly how he said it. The Mac, Apple, all that. Ooh, so aggressive. And says, search till this day. All right, got it. I'm gonna search that as soon as we get off of here. But we've come to the end of the show, because I was told about 10 minutes ago to wrap it up, and I am still going. Mitch says that it is in New York that they say son, all right? Not in Jersey. So cool. All right, we're gonna get out of here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you all.
I appreciate you.
Including the person who disliked the video. Hopefully you learned something new, and if not, hopefully you stayed for the fun. Hopefully you stayed for the entertainment. But it's all fun and games over here. All fun and games, even if you have to get into your fee sometimes. Bruh. But we're going to get out of here. Thank you guys so much. But you know the question that I have for you after all these questions about how long? We've been going for 2 hours and 10 minutes. So I have a question for you. I have a question for you.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
I am so entertained. I had so much fun hanging out with you guys, answering these amazing tech questions on how we can level up. But sadly, you guys know what it is, right? You know what it is. Yesterday's price is not today's price. Today's price is not, sadly, it's not tomorrow's price, because...
One more thing. Price of the brick going up.
The price of the brick is always going up. But on that note, this is Tech Coach Ralph. We are out.
You might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts. Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again. Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.
What is your profession? It doesn't matter what you think.